Okay, here comes video on Sunday the 12th of April 2026, just gone 12:38 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend, time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. First of all, an apology that the video is out late. We've had quite a lot of rain and bad weather in Kauai over the last several days, and yesterday, Saturday, got a bit of a break, so everybody rushed to the beach. I was no exception, so I was away from my desk all day. But anyway, so that's the reason for the late video. Hope everybody is doing well. Question for you: if you use TradeStation, have you had problems with TradeStation this week? Normally TradeStation for me is just rock solid, don't have a problem with it at all, but this week has been super glitchy. So I've woken up to TradeStation being off in the morning. The data feed on certain charts just would not load, so I had to rebuild my cache, and then having to restart TradeStation once or twice in order to get things working properly. I have not upgraded to the latest version of TradeStation, so I'll probably do that this weekend. But if you're having problems with TradeStation, if that sounds familiar to you, leave a comment to this video. I'd be curious to see if I am alone in having these problems. Anyway, let us get on to the E-mini charts. We're up 500 points from the low. Everything seems great, but there's trouble ahead. We've had the news last night that the talks to end the war have broken down, and there's no doubt that that news will be reflected in when the market opens up later on today. But on my higher time frame charts, we still have a little bit of a push to go. On the lower time frame charts, the 13,500 tip bar charts, you can see the professionals were active at the end of the week taking profits. So let me go through the charts. So daily chart here, this is the bounce that we've had from the 6,400 number here. Exhaustion sell, blue professional bars come in to get the move going, and we're back up bouncing off this resistance line. It's a trailing stop from Better Pro-Am that once it's broken, it trails the professional activity down. So that's an area that we could bounce off there. I said a while ago that I would have liked this bottom to have made with blue professional down bars here. This is gaming the market up. I mean, it's not terrible, but I just wonder if we're going to have that push down in order to have blue professional bars come in and then put in a bullish divergence pattern here. Backgrounds in grey, we're in a downtrend on this time frame, but if you look at this on the @ES chart, it's not a downtrend. So it's a mix of signals here on these higher time frames. And you'll see on the next time frame chart, the 135-minute chart, this pullback level has printed right at the lows at the 6,400 number, not here. And you get that sometimes. We're using an algorithm that's identical between the different data sets to plot multiple time frame support and resistance. So the algorithm's identical, but sometimes the data can cause it to print at a different spot. And it was just early here on the daily chart, and you'll see on the 135-minute chart it's right down there. But we're in the middle of this swing, and I think until we come back up and reach this cyclical resistance on the daily time frame, which is maybe a day or two away, it's not long away, when that comes in, that'll push us down. So although the news is bad over the weekend, which will cause us to fall out of bed, I think, first thing Sunday, Monday, we could have a little bit of time before that top is properly made. So look out for that. Here's the 135-minute chart, and on the better sine wave chart, here we go. That's that pullback level that I'm talking about. So it's an intermediate support level on the time frame above, becomes the highest time frame on the time frame below. So it printed up here on the daily chart, but on the 135-minute chart it's printed here. So in this huge uptrend here, because we're above resistance on the highest time frame, and we're putting in a pullback to end of trend, you can see the cyclical energy here is pushing up. So we've got the intermediate time frame pushing up. This highest time frame, it's trending at the moment because it's parallel. It's got to play itself up. So like I said, although I think the news is bad and that'll cause some weakness, this is saying we've still got some time to run before this comes back up to 100 on the highest time frame, on the intermediate time frame, crosses, and that puts in our resistance, supposedly, on these highest time frames. So yep, we found a break above resistance. We gapped up, and we're above resistance, so the bars are printing red. So in terms of better sine wave, we're in an uptrend. We've still got a little bit of time to play out on this time frame. And then when we look at better pro-am down here, here's an instance that, yeah, we had blue professional bars some way away from the low last time that we pushed, and there's the blue professional bar comes in, and this we didn't test very much. You can see momentum was just barely below negative, and we bounced on this time frame from there. So we don't have to put in a whole bunch of blue professional bars down at the lows, but like it, particularly on the lower time frames where we have multiple blue professional bars come in here. And you can see these were the blue professional bars once the news came out that things were going better, we were going to have a ceasefire. There's the bounce that we have, the blue professional bars come in to take advantage, and the market races away. On the upside, we've got to see something like blue professional bars come in on the 135-minute chart, but we didn't have them exactly at the lows here either, so just bear that in mind. 45-minute chart, here we go, we've got our signal down here. So here we've made the end of a downtrend below support on the highest time frame. We're bouncing from here, we gapped up, we're above here. This has got to play out. This is the cyclical energy still has some moves to make in order to get to 100 and cross and turn over. We had exhaustion sell, bullish divergence right on the zero line, so we're waiting for flushes. One right at the low down here, 6,400, and we've raced away from there. And at the moment, no momentum patterns. The blue professional bar is the gap up bar. There's nothing blue professional bars on the way up. So yeah, that's not ready to roll yet on the 45-minute chart. And the 15-minute chart, there was the exhaustion sell, Rambo patterns, which are unstable. Rambo patterns with an exhaustion sell are unstable. We go to the other side, the Rambo to Rambo channel. We have blue professional bars coming at the highs. Really, they're buying this breakout because that whole area holds. We test to the other side of the blue professional bars down here. We bounce from there, bang, we keep going to 6,900 or close. So there we go. On the upside here, so 12,000, it's not quite an exhaustion read yet. The blue professional bars are miles away. The trailing stop on Breakout Prime is miles away. So even on the 15-minute chart, these are all saying, these higher time frames charts, we've got a day or two before this rolls over properly. However, here we go, 13,500 tip bar chart, which has been our go-to chart, is always the go-to chart and has been because it signaled this. Down at 6,400, this is 2 weeks ago, I told you, jumping in, small position, and that was the news of things were coming to a close, at least on Iran, or potentially coming to the close, and we've had 2 weeks, 500 points of a rally, so from just under 6,400 to just under 6,900. So a whole bunch of blue professional bars bought the lows. It was a nice signal down there, and now on the flip side, at the highs, up towards 6,900, they're back again. Blue professional bars, big pro bars, active at these highs. The blue professional bars didn't come in right at the highs here. We had them catch here, push back up again, and blue professional bars coming in there. Now, we've not broken the trailing stop. The push up has been amber bars. We've not got an exhaustion pattern up here at the highs. This 68.48 level, that's going to be key, but it's not far away. We could easily gap down on the open on Sunday there, but I'm wondering if that's going to lead to a little bit of weakness. So in terms of the higher time frame charts, it still says we have a couple of days before we roll over, but this is showing us at these highs. So I don't know. Cyclical patterns, we're playing with this resistance on the highest time frame. We put in pullback to under trend on the low, on the intermediate. We come back, the low again. We're putting in pullback to end of trend on the intermediate again here. So the bars have not turned red. We're not in a downtrend yet, but we're overdone in terms of resistance on the highest time frame. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull a cat out of the bag before the open on Sunday, and there'll be some good news. They're back to the table or something, and the rally will continue until it peters out Monday, Tuesday. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for on my E-mini charts. So let us get to the crude chart. Last weekend, if you'll remember, I said, wait, it's about to top out, but we hadn't seen the blue professional bars. So the vertical solid yellow line is the end of last week, and it was looking like it was getting extended, but we had not seen blue professional bars. They came in here, 116. Big pro bars up into those highs, the blue boxes showing professionals at highs. And then we got our signal short, and we went for a real tumble down to 91s down here. But professionals were also picking it up on the way down. So now we have exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, and flush, and we're testing here at the moment. Background's dark at the moment, but we want to break into an uptrend. So what I'm looking for is the next blue professional down bar between 95s and 91s to come in, see if that holds, and we get a continuation of the rally in crude. So that's potentially setting up there. This was the timing in terms of better sine wave. We've reached this crescendo up here because we had pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame, pullback to end of trend on the lowest, pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. I mean, that was a cluster of end of trends on all three time frames going up, and then we just push, and then bang. So crude looking to see where the professionals come back in on the retrace to catch it. 10 years. So 10 years, we had some bad news with inflation. I suppose it's obvious that inflation's ticking up because everything that is happening. And you can see the professionals starting to take advantage. So last week we set up for the rally. Big pro bars, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence flush. This area holds, have a signal, break into an uptrend, but then the professionals are taking profits. But we are waiting till we get exhaustion signals up here at the highs, more blue professional bars, testing into those highs, into that area. Exhaustion buy bearish divergence flush, and we've rolled over and we've got a signal short. So bonds going down means that they think rates are going up because we need to kill the beast that is inflation. Whether that's the right thing to do, because the crude problem is supply demand. It's got nothing to do with overheating economy. So is it the right thing to do to raise rates? I don't know, but the market thinks that that's going to be the mood for the Fed. And into those highs, it was a triple signal. It was a triple down here. Big things happen at triples where we get triple supports come in. We race away from there. A couple signs of strength, bang, into that high. And then a triple comes in, resistance on all three time frames, and we break into a downtrend. So bonds looking a little weak at the moment. Let us look at the Forex charts. So with Forex charts, I said last weekend, we were just waiting for the cyclical support because at the end of the week, we were downtrending, and I was saying let's wait till the cyclical support comes in on the highest time frame. And there it did at the beginning of the week, get a triple signal, big things happen at triples, bang, we've gone for a nice little race away to the upside. Now we've got the reverse happening, so we've got a whole bunch of end of trend signals going off. First sign of weakness up here with the Euro chart. Not a whole bunch of blue professional bars over this sequence. Yep, big pro bars coming into those lows. You can see one or two bars there. The test into that cyclical support on the highest time frame was amateur bars here, and then we raced away. And at these highs, I'd like to see some blue professional bars, some boxes. Yeah, a couple of blue professional bars here, but no blue boxes up at those highs, exhaustion patterns and so on. But yeah, that's not a lot of blue professional bars to show us that they're taking profits at those highs. So maybe we've got a little bit of time to run just like the equities market until that little local high this week is made and we can drop off. British pound, similar thing. We needed to wait for that cyclical support to come in at the beginning of the week. There it is, came there. Nice little rally, but again, some end of trend patterns popping up here. Cyclical resistance on this highest time frame. British pound's better. So here we've got blue professional bars taking profits here, but exhaustion sell, and we're bouncing from there. So we've not had a signal yet on British pound, but that could be leading to some weakness this week. There's a common theme with a lot of these charts, as I found it difficult this week, towards the end of the week, to find a lot of big pro bars where the background's blue. Yes, we had crude setting up from the big pro bars coming in midweek, but they're not a lot on these charts, with the exception of Bitcoin. So we'll show you that in a second. But there's British pound chart. Aussie dollar chart, same thing. We had a nice rally from those lows. Oops, let me just show you the better sine wave chart here at the lows. So there we go. The cyclical support comes in, break into an uptrend. We had a big things happen at triples, and big things happen at triples, big break at triples, and now we've put in pullback to end of trends. We're just putting in pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame here. And on this chart, yeah, this one's set up with a whole bunch of blue professional bars at the beginning of the week, and this rally went for it. But we haven't had that on the flip side. So we could have a little bit of weakness on these Forex charts, but until we see the big pro bars come in for me, that's what I'm waiting for on all of these charts, because that's what gives me confidence that I'm following the professionals. Gold, nice rally over the last 2 weeks. So there's the exhaustion patterns, big pro bars come in here, 4,200. We've rallied from there. They took profits a little bit here. They come back up and testing. We've had a signal at this point midweek. Let's see if it continues down through 4,700. Gold's been acting a little bit counter to what you'd expect during a period of war. People are surmising that the war parties are under pressure. And so they're selling their gold in order to raise funds, like Russia Iran maybe, China maybe, and so on. Who knows whether that's the case or not, but we all like to hear some logical, fundamental reason why markets go up and down. Let's see if gold rolls over this week. Lastly, Bitcoin. So in last weekend's video, I said that Bitcoin had been unloved, and I wonder if it was going to go for a little bit of a rally this week, and that's what happened. We had some big pro bars, just one or two down here at the lows with the Rambo pattern here at 66,000, and broke away over the weekend and started to really get going up to 70, almost 74,000, which is great. But now we have big pro bars, exhaustion buys, bearish divergence, flush, another big pro bar right here at the highs, and we've dropped into a downtrend. So I'd be looking for Bitcoin to break through this 70,500 level and continue on the way down until we see the flip side of that. So unfortunately, they were just using this opportunity to game Bitcoin up, get everybody involved, and they're getting short at that point up at the 74,000s, and it's coming up to cyclical resistance on these time frames. So yep, broken into a downtrend. We played out all of our end of trend patterns up here, and then it's rolled over. So there we go, a rip around the charts. Although the news out of Pakistan is not good, the charts seem to be saying that we've still got a couple of days to run on the upside before an important cyclical level comes in. So for example, on the 135-minute chart, and yet there's profit taking at those highs. So it'll be interesting to see how we open up on Sunday and where we trade on Monday. The general public might be shaken out, but we might push high on Monday, Tuesday in order to wrong foot them. So that's a potential game plan for the first couple of days of next week. Good luck with your trading this week. Apologies again that the video came out late.